Amazon FBA product research is tough. So of course, as a new seller, it's tempting to get someone else to do that product research for you. And if you head over to FIVERR, you'll see there are literally hundreds of freelancers offering this service. But the question is this product research on FIVERR any good, and should you be using it? Well, in this video, we're gonna find out. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so a few days ago, what I did was headed over to FIVERR, and then I simply searched for Amazon FBA product research. And then what you can see is there are literally hundreds of different sellers all offering, or freelancers all offering this same service or a similar service. So what I try to do to try and find one that would actually be decent is I try to look for one that had really good reviews, quite a lot of reviews, and also was fairly well priced. I obviously didn't want to spend hundreds of pounds on this, so I ended up finding a freelancer which I decided to move forward with. I then selected their standard package, which had 2 Amazon FBA products and some bonuses, and then I placed my order. And then I waited. 3 days later, I received the order. Okay guys, so what you might have noticed is I've not shown you this freelancer's name, and that's just something I'm not going to do just because I'm reviewing this product live. I've not seen this product before I'm recording this, and it could be a great product or it could be a crap product, right? So I just don't know yet, so I'm just not gonna put the freelancer's name on here. Now I know that by looking just at one freelancer's work doesn't show you what product research on FIVERR is like as a whole. There are loads of different sellers, and I'm sure there will be some that are better than others, but I have worked with a lot of clients who have gone and done Amazon product research on FIVERR. They've sent me some of the results they've got, and I've reviewed quite a few of these over the years. And in general, they've all been pretty similar, and they've all been pretty shit. So me personally, I have to admit that I am quite biased. I do kind of think that in general, product research on FIVERR is quite crap. And the reason for that is that I don't think the majority of people on FIVERR doing product research have any real world experience. They're not selling on Amazon themselves. Most of them have probably just done a very basic course, and they just don't really know what they're talking about, and they don't have that real world experience. Now, I'm hoping to be proven wrong when we work through this, but that has generally been my experience. But what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and be as unbiased as possible as I review this product idea. But I just want to tell you that personally has been my experience so far with this kind of stuff. So in total, with the FIVERR fees, this order actually came to £40, and this is what I got. So I got sent a sourcing notes PDF, a product launch strategy PDF, and then 2 different product ideas. So the product launch strategy and the sourcing notes, obviously these are not going to be unique or tailored to me. This is just something that they send to every client, and this is the bonus that they were talking about. I've had a read through these, so I did look at these before starting recording, and actually in general, I can't say anything too bad about these. Both of these sourcing notes and product launch strategy notes are pretty decent. They're actually pretty good. A lot of the stuff in there is the stuff that I would actually teach in my training. So in general, those are pretty good, but what I want to focus on is the actual products that they sent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at one of the products in this video, and then obviously if you guys enjoy this kind of content, what I'll do is I'll do another video looking at the other products similar to this one. Okay, so just before we jump into their product idea and their analysis, I just want to talk about the 4 main things that I personally analyze when looking at product ideas, whether they be my own or analyzing student product ideas. And those are firstly just general aspects. So whether the product is small, lightweight, whether it's an electronic product or not, just the kind of general aspects of the product and whether it would make a good Amazon FBA product. These tend to be physical aspects of the product. The second thing that I like to look at is price analysis. The third is demand analysis. And the fourth is competition, gaps in the market, and improvement ideas for that product. So I'm hoping that in this analysis, they're going to look at each one of these, but let's see. Okay, so this is the product that they sent me. This is the product analysis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just quickly go through this because I haven't seen this yet. I'm going to quickly go through it, give a quick overview, and then we can go through everything in a little bit more detail. Okay, so this is the product report. There's a kind of contents page. Okay, cool. So there seems like there's quite a lot. It's 27 pages, so quite a detailed report. Then they've got some handover terms. Let's have a look. We use premium tools for product research. We have a strict policy of one product only for one client. Therefore, we delete data when a product is approved by clients. Okay. Well, yeah, you would hope that would be the case. Obviously, if you're paying for product research, you would hope that they're only sending you this product data. And this is kind of one of the things that's always concerned me with doing product research on FIVERR, right? How do you know that they're not just sending the same product to everyone? there's really no way for you to know. You're just kind of basing it on trust, because the issue is that even if it is a good product idea, which I will find out, but even if it is a good product idea, this person could just be sending the same product idea to every single person, and it might not be tailored to you, which means it would just become incredibly competitive if everyone that they sent it to then launched it. So this is one thing I've always been a little concerned about. I'm just not sure whether I necessarily believe that, but it's kind of one of those things that are hard to prove. We recommend clients go for the patent check. Okay, it's our responsibility to keep product and its relevant data confidential because it's client's property after his or her approval. Okay, fine. So again, this is just talking about how it's yours and that they keep it confidential and they don't share it with other people. Again, I'm not too sure about that, but there's not really any way to properly tell. Client requirements. Okay, so product price range, 30 to 50 pounds. Yeah, that's a reasonable price range. Reviews competable. Okay, not sure what that means. Monthly sales more than high. Okay. Product type, non-seasonal, non-gated, non-brand, dominant, not restricted, non-breakable. Okay, these are all kind of typically good things, I guess. Search volume high. Yeah. Brand dominant, no. Profit margins 30 to 50%. Okay, yeah. So all of this is like pretty standard stuff that you'd look for when doing product research. So, you know, this pretty much all looks good. So let's have a look at the actual product they sent. So they said the main keyword is pampas grass. Okay, so I guess this is like some sort of kind of ornamental, like real or fake grass that you would have like in a vase or something. Let's have a look. Okay, so then what they've got here is they've got some Jungle Scout data. Okay, so this is just a screenshot of some Jungle Scout data, conclusion of the data. Okay, so this is weird. So they've shown the Jungle Scout data here, but instead of giving a conclusion of all the data, it looks like what they've done is they've picked one competitor here, and they've just basically given the data for this one competitor, which is quite strange. I'm not really sure why they've done that. Also, this competitor, I'm not sure if you guys can see this because this is quite blurry, but this competitor is actually ranked organically number 25, so I'm not really sure why that would be your main competitor. There's not even really any such thing as main competitor, but let's keep going. Okay, so they've then shown the same data for helium-10, which is cool. So they've shown both in Jungle Scout and helium-10, which is helpful. And again, they've selected the same competitor and they've given conclusion of the data. Okay, so this is weird because I would kind of expect them to give a kind of breakdown or conclusion of the data as a whole, you know, as the whole market, but instead they've just selected one seller, which is really strange. And actually, you know what the thing about this is that when I've looked at other product research done on FIVERR for some of the students that I work with that I've analyzed as well, they've all seemed to do the same thing. They all select one competitor and say this is your main competitor, which is a really strange thing to do because you don't have one competitor. The whole market's your competitor. So I've never understood that, and to be honest, I really don't understand that here. But anyway, we'll come back to that. So let's just see what else they've got. Okay, so then they've got some demand basically over time, so search volume over time on viral launch. And you know, I can see how this can be helpful if you don't pay for tools yourself. They're using a lot of different tools here, which obviously would cost you money if you're doing this yourself. Okay, so they've got some viral launch data. Then they've got some, what's this? Okay, so this is the helium-10 search volume data for the main keyword pampas grass. So again, this is search volume kind of like showing demand over time. Some screenshots of the Amazon page. Okay, so this is our main competitor. Why we choose the main competitor? Low reviews, good revenue, one of the top 10 sellers. Okay, so they must mean in terms of revenue because it's not one of the top 10 organically ranked products. I don't understand this whole main competitor thing, so yeah, just something I really don't get. But there's some more competitor analysis here. I guess this is all focusing on that one competitor. Don't really understand the point in this stuff. Okay, so then there's some supplier stuff. Okay, cool. So they've basically kind of done some sourcing work for you essentially here. So I guess they're trying to tell you what the estimated cost of the price is. Linked to one of the suppliers. They found a second supplier. Okay, then some sourcing information. So just the kind of, this looks like the kind of cost. for the product. Again, some more costing because there's estimated shipping costs. Some profit calculations. Okay, that makes sense. So they're basically doing this to try and work out what the kind of profit margins are to see if this is a viable product because of profitability. Okay, that's quite helpful. Okay, they're just going a bit more into details about the profit margins. Some keyword analysis. Okay, cool. So they've done some keyword research for this product and they've provided some keyword analysis and then they kind of have their final verdict. Okay, cool. Okay, so there's one thing straight away that jumped out at me there and actually really concerns me. And I wonder whether any of the eagle eye viewers out there actually saw what I saw and picked up on what I think could be an issue here. So let's go back to this and have a look through it. So one thing I noticed as I was scrolling through was basically as you come down to have a look at some of the search trends, it's quite blurry, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this that well on the screen recording, but let me zoom in. So this is looking at the search data over the last year, and what you can see is it ends in Jan 2023. I'm not sure if any of you saw that, it was probably a bit blurry, but if I have a look at the helium-10 data, it looks like again it ends in kind of January or February 2023. Now we're in 2024 now, so this looks like this data is from a year ago, which would kind of indicate that this research has been done a year ago. And if that's the case, then this product research is just completely useless, because over a year a market can change completely. All of the demand data can be different, all of the competitor data can be different, the market could be totally different, which means that basically this research is completely useless. So how can we actually check that? Well, there is actually quite an easy way that I just thought of that we could check this. What we can do is if we have a look at some of the data here. Okay, cool. So let's have a look at the helium-10 data. What we can look at is we can find one of these products, and if it's still selling, we can find one of these products and we can open it and we can have a look at how many reviews it's got. So we might as well use that main competitor. So the main competitor here is doing £24,000 per month in revenue. The search volume for Pampas grass is 20,000, so pretty good search volume, and they have 428 reviews. Okay, so what we can do is we can come down to, I think they provided a link for the main competitor. We can just see how many reviews they've got now. Okay, here we go. So we can just click on this link. Okay, right, that is quite strange. That's not even the same product. I'm not really sure what's happened there. Maybe this was a product that they sent someone else and they put in the wrong product in the competitor section. Let me double check that. So let me try clicking on this ASIN instead. Okay, right, okay, so this seems to have taken us to the same product. I don't know what happened there. Maybe they sent as another product idea to someone else and they just by mistake left the URL in there or the link or something like that. But okay, so let's have a look at this product. Okay, so what we can see is actually this product has 605 reviews. And in the data they provided, it had 428 reviews, which to me strongly indicates that it was done a year ago, because over a year getting about 100 and something reviews, getting to about 600, that seems to make sense. So clearly this research was not done recently, which to be honest, I'm quite surprised. I didn't expect that. I'm kind of gutted about that, because it kind of means everything they provided doesn't really mean anything anymore. Another way that we could also check this is that if I just come to Amazon and write Pampas grass into Amazon and then we open the Helium-10 X-ray tool, we can see what the search volume is for that main keyword. So it was 19,000 on their screenshots. Okay, yeah. So we can see that it's only about 5,000 now. Yeah, so you can see that it was about 19,000 in February 2023, which is basically when I thought they actually did this research. That's what I thought I could see in the screenshots. Okay, right, so this research was actually done over a year ago, which to be honest, I'm actually really gutted about. I have to say I didn't expect that. The problem with that is that it means that basically all of this research, all of the data they've provided kind of means nothing, because it was done a year ago, and over a year, markets can change dramatically. Also, I have to say, it makes me very dubious that this research was actually done specifically for me and it's not been sent to other people. If this was done a year ago, surely this has been sent out to loads of other people, which is kind of what my fear was. I mentioned it kind of earlier on in the video. It could be that this research was done a while ago but not sent out to other people. I'm not sure I believe that, to be honest, but for the sake of this video, let's just pretend that this research was done now, and let's keep going through it and kind of let's look at the rest of it. Okay, so looking through this again, what I can't really see is there's not really that much commentary about this. So as I mentioned, one of the things that I like to analyze and look for is the kind of general physical aspects of the product, and I don't really see this mentioned anywhere. But looking at this product, what I would say is that it doesn't look to be too big and bulky. In general, it's not an electronics product, so it's not going to require the CE or UKCA marking. It's not a fragile product that's going to break easily. It's just a pretty simple everyday product. So in general, for me looking at this, if I was analyzing this, I'd say it ticks the box for the kind of general physical aspects of making a good FBA product. So everything looks good there. The second thing that I like to analyze is pricing. And if I look here, there's nothing that I can see. There's not really any price analysis I can see. All I can see here is that they've said the client requirements are a product price range of 30 to 50 pounds. But when we have a look at the sales data in Helium-10, we can see that the average selling price for this product is somewhere between kind of 12 and 25 pounds. So it doesn't even really fall into that pricing range that they mentioned earlier on, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. But generally, the two things that I look for when analyzing prices are, number one, that the price is somewhere between kind of 15 and 50 pounds. That's the kind of sweet spot with Amazon FBA products, which this product does almost or just about fall into if you're selling a slightly higher price product. So that's okay, that's a tick there. The second thing that I like to look for is what impact price has on sales. So there'll be some markets where the lower price products sell really well, but higher price products just don't sell well at all, and that shows that price has a massive impact on sales. And with those kind of markets, you don't really want to enter them because you're just going to be competing on price all the time. And if you do enter them, it's really important to know that beforehand, because you know what your kind of ceiling price is, and you can use that when doing your profit calculations. On the other hand, there's markets where higher price products sell just as well as lower price products. It shows that customers aren't just looking for the cheapest product, they're willing to pay a bit more for a higher quality product. It allows you to launch a more premium product, have better margins, and those are generally the kind of markets that you want to go into. Having a look at this data here, I'm not sure really how clear this is for you guys. But having a look at this data here, you can kind of see that there are a few higher price products. So there's one at $23.99, one here at $26.99. And both of those do seem to sell fairly well. One here for $26.99, they do seem to sell pretty well. So what I could say by looking at this data, again, this data is dated, so it'd be better to look at newer data. By looking at the data that they've provided, I would say, again, for pricing, this does have a tick. The next thing that I always like to look at is the strength of the demand. So the strength of the demand at the moment and the strength of the demand historically, to see whether demand's increasing, decreasing, and to make sure that the product's not a seasonal product. So in their defense, this is one thing that they've actually done quite well. So you can see that basically, even though there's not really much of a commentary about this, what they have done is they've shown you using both the Jungle Scout and Helium-10 data. They've shown us the monthly revenue, monthly sales. They've shown that on Jungle Scout and on Helium-10. Also to show the kind of demand at the moment, they've also done, if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, I think we were looking at it earlier, they also did some, where is it here? They did some keyword research. So this is showing that there are lots of keywords. There are multiple keywords for this product that have good search volume. And this is really what you want to see. You can see that there's good sales data. There's also good search volume. This really confirms what demand is like at the moment. So again, it would be nice to have a commentary, but to be fair, they show this quite well. What they've also done is using viral launch and then also the Helium-10 search volume analysis. They've shown us that this product is not a seasonal product and that demand's been pretty stable over the last year. The thing is, I know that this product research was done a year ago. So what we'd have to do is we'd have to look at what the demand's looking like at the moment. So if we look at the Helium-10 search volume data at the moment, okay, a year later, we'd see that over the last year, it does, I mean, there's ups and downs, but it does look pretty stable. But what's interesting is what we need to do is look at all time. And okay, there we go. So if you look at all time, it gives us a much clearer picture. So what they've done is they've only shown us search volume over the last year. And that doesn't give you a full picture because it looks like demand's been stable. But if you actually look at search volume over the last, whether it's like kind of 5 years, you'll see that the actual demand for this product has been slowly decreasing over time. So it kind of peaked at 50,000, 70,000 monthly searches during Feb 2021. And then when they did their research, which was in, when was it? Feb 2023, where was it here? January, Feb, the search volume was 19,000 searches a month, whereas this has dropped dramatically to where we are now. It's about 5,000 searches a month, which is only about a quarter of the demand of what it was before. And we can double check this by looking at the revenue numbers. So if we look at the average revenue numbers from when they did this research, they were saying that, okay, so most of the sellers were doing, 11,000, 13,000, 7,000, 11,000, 25,000. Okay, somewhere between kind of like £5,000 and £13,000 per month revenue. That was pretty standard about a year ago. And what we can do is double check this now. So I'm just going to select these sponsored products and remove those. So we're just looking at organic listings. And really what we would expect here is that if search volume has decreased by about, to about a quarter of what it was, we would kind of expect the revenue and sales across the top sellers to be about similar. So let's just delete these sponsored products. And then what we can see is, average revenue. So we've got 2,000, 7,000, 2,000, one doing 22,000, which is completely dominating, 1,000, 2,000, 1,000. These revenue numbers are significantly lower than they were a year ago. And that matches because search volume is significantly lower. So yes, you can see there's two big issues here. Number one, because they did the research a year ago, a year later, the market's totally different. Demand's like a quarter of what it was. So, and secondly, because when they showed the demand over time, they only showed us over the last year, it doesn't give us a full picture of what direction demand's been going in. Okay, so then the fourth and final thing I always like to look at is competitor analysis. So looking at the competitor analysis here, it is a little bit odd. So I guess from the Jungle Scout and Helium 10 screenshots, I guess they're showing you get to see kind of the review count, which they've highlighted here, the review rating, which in a way is an aspect of how strong the competition is. But then again, weirdly, they've just selected one competitor. And I honestly don't understand this approach. Why would I have one competitor? And this competitor is organically ranked number 25. What about all the 24 number 1 to 24 organically ranked products? All of those are my competitors. And this is a fundamental problem. And this is something that I see a lot when I look at these FIVERR product research, these sheets. They all look very similar. Basically, one of the big things they never take into consideration is basically properly analyzing the competition. What they tend to do is they say, here's a product that has good demand, the review numbers aren't too high, there's a few sellers that have low reviews who are doing decent revenue, just launch the same product as them. And that is just fundamentally the complete wrong approach to product research. Product research is not about finding products that have good demand. Okay, that is part of product research, but it's not the whole part. You're missing a really important side, which is about trying to find markets where the competition is weak, not even weak, where there are clear gaps in the market, where there are clear gaps where you can think of something, where you can clearly do something better, where you can clearly launch an improved, more desirable product offer in the market that's going to allow you to outcompete the competition. If you just enter a market and you just launch the exact same product as everyone else, why is a customer going to pick your product over the competitors who's basically exactly the same when you enter the market with a low number of reviews? The answer is they're not. So to be able to compete in the Amazon space, you need to launch a product that is differentiated. You need to launch a product that is more desirable than what's out there at the moment. And to be able to do that, you need to find markets where there are those gaps in the market. And that's one of those things. This is one of these really important things that they never seem to address in these FIVERR product research sheets. This is really the fundamental issue that I have with all of the product research that I've seen done on FIVERR. If one of my students sent me a product idea and this is what they'd found, I would basically go back to them and say, this is not a viable idea. You've only provided 50% of what you're meant to be doing with product research. You've just shown me the demand side of things. But where are the gaps in the market? What's your product offer going to be to actually fill the gaps in the market? And again, that's what's missing here. If we look through the rest of this sheet, at nowhere in this sheet do they basically mention any gaps in the market, and they don't mention what your product offer could be to fill those gaps in the market. When you're paying for product research, that's what you should be paying for, someone to find those gaps and tell you how you can fill them, because that is fundamentally what you're trying to be what you should be doing when doing product research. So what kind of things do I look for? What kind of things should you be looking for? Well, firstly, if you're looking at the Helium 10 data, of course, you can firstly look at review numbers and review ratings. And what we can see here is, firstly, yes, there are quite a few sellers with under 100 reviews who have managed to rank and gain okay revenue. Now, this is a good sign. It does show that if they're able to do it, you should be able to do it as well. So that is a good sign here. The second thing that I would then look for is markets where generally the review ratings are pretty low. So across the board, if the review ratings are low, this is a very obvious one and you don't always find this, but if the review ratings are low across the board, there's fundamentally a problem with all the products being sold in the market. So maybe they don't function properly, the quality's low, and then you can read through those reviews, see what people are complaining about, and then what you can do is you can actually fix those problems and you can launch a product that's consistently getting good reviews. You're going to have a higher review rating than your competitors. You're going to be more desirable to customers than your competitors because of that, and therefore you're going to be able to outcompete them. What you should also be doing is actually just physically looking at the products in the search results, clicking into some of them and actually having a look at the product listings. Maybe there's markets where everyone's selling very similar product designs and you can come to market with a differentiated product design that stands out. Maybe none of them are bundling and you can launch an awesome bundle. Maybe all of their product listings are really low quality and you can be more desirable by having a better product listing. There are so many ways to do this, but you actually need to do much more in-depth research to find those gaps in the market and think of ways to fill them. Looking at this market, there are no clear gaps that really jump out to me. In general, the review ratings are pretty good. There are loads of different variations in the types of products, so it's not going to be easy to launch something differentiated. There's really nothing here that jumps out at me. Now, there might well be, if you spend more time researching this, you might well find there are gaps in the market and there are clear ways to actually create an improved offer. But the fact is, in this research, they've not highlighted any of that and they've not told me what I should be launching. So if you don't really know what you're doing, you would just launch the exact same product that everyone else is selling and you probably wouldn't sell very well. I apologize, I know I've gone on a bit of a rant there, but the reason why I get so riled up is because this is such an important thing, and this is one of the main reasons why new sellers fail, because they just don't know how to look for these gaps in the market and they don't know that they need to create an improved, more desirable product offer. So my final verdict on this is that, to be honest, it's actually worse than I expected it. Firstly, the research was done a year ago, which basically means that none of the data is relevant anymore. Even putting that aside, the fact that it's done a year ago makes me not feel very confident that this is a unique product to me, because it's not been done now based on my requirements. So it kind of makes me feel like this was done a long time ago and has been sent to lots of different people, which really just means that even if it was a good product, I wouldn't want to launch it because loads of other people have been given this product to launch by the same person. So that's a bit of a downer in the first place. Next, there's not really any analysis on the general aspects of the product or why it would make a good FBA product. There's no pricing analysis. There's good demand analysis, to be fair. There's pretty decent demand analysis, but it's not relevant because it was done from a year ago and demand's dropped by 75% since then. Also, they've only shown demand trend over the last year, which shows it's not seasonal, but it doesn't actually show the proper picture of demand, which is showing that actually demand, if we look at it properly, demand's actually decreasing over time, which you really don't want to launch a product where demand's decreasing. And finally, in terms of competitor analysis, it's basically non-existent. So for me, the price of the product is a bit too low, the demand is decreasing for the product, and the revenue is actually pretty low. So you can't really expect to make a good revenue. There's basically no clear gaps in the market that I can see, and there's not really any explanation of what product offer you would launch in this market. So for me, I just wouldn't move forward with this product based on this feedback. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, to be fair, this is only one person's work on Fiverr. You can't base all of the product research that you can do on Fiverr based on one person's work. However, like I said, some of my students have also done or got product research done on Fiverr, and I've reviewed some of the other freelancers' work on Fiverr, probably about 4 or 5 now, including this one, and they've all looked pretty much identical and very similar and all had the same issues. So I'd be really interested to know, have you done any product research on Fiverr? Has it looked similar? Have you seen the same kind of issues? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, this has generally been my experience, and this is generally why I would not recommend getting product research done on Fiverr. In my opinion, it tends to be done by people who do not sell on Amazon themselves, have no real world experience, and basically just don't really know what they're talking about. And in this case, it was actually work that was not even done for me, and it was actually done over a year ago, which means that it's just completely irrelevant. And as a result, unfortunately, people who don't really know what they're doing, who are the kind of people who would go and get this product research done in the first place, as a result, they may launch this product and they might lose a lot of money. So that is why I'd pretty much always recommend getting some training, learning how to do the process yourself, and doing product research yourself rather than getting someone else to do it for you. That's the only way to know that you're doing it properly. So guys, as always, I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, give it a like, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.